Good evening. Welcome to Monday, May the 12th, 2014, regular meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, Mrs. Cropper.
Ms. Sanborn?
Present.
Mr. Merchant?
Present.
Mrs. Brinkman?
Present.
Mr. Waldman?
Present.
Mr. Lewis is absent this evening.
Public comments. Speaking to the board, David Schaaf. Public records request.
He stepped out to take a call.
Oh, okay. Moving on. Dr. Klein, recognition this
Yes,
evening.
our first recognition this evening is for our master teachers. Ms. Ellie Preston, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, will be presenting those individuals for recognition this evening.
Good evening. Tonight I have the privilege of introducing 5 West Claremont teachers who have earned the designation of Master Teacher. According to the Ohio Department of Education, a Master Teacher demonstrates excellence inside and outside of the classroom through consistent leadership and focused collaboration to maximize student learning. A Master Teacher strives for distinguished teaching and continued professional growth as specified by the Ohio Standards for the Teaching Profession. On behalf of the West Claremont School District, I'm honored to say that we have such tremendous individuals serving our students on a daily basis. Their education to the profession and to this district is greatly appreciated. First, I'd like to recognize Millie Walsh. Tina Reno. Melissa Coaster. Sharon Maynard. And Liz Roker. Congratulations again.
Ladies, if you would circle back up and around, the board would like to shake your hands and congratulate you. Congratulations. 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 Great job. Thank you so much. Congratulations. The amount of time. The amount of time that these individuals who are named master teachers dedicate to putting together a professional portfolio that represents their work in the classroom is quite a task. These folks exemplify the best in West Claremont, and we're very proud of the fact that we have 5 master teachers this year, and we're of course looking for more as we move forward. So thank you again.
Thank you. Employee recognition, Dr. Klein.
One of my most favorite activities each quarter is to introduce and recognize our employees who have gone above and beyond the call. These individuals have been nominated by their peers as being exemplary employees that have gone beyond the regular job description that we would expect our folks to do. They are the class of the district. So I'd like to invite those folks to come in if they would at this time, and I'd like to read just a paragraph about each of them and what got them here this evening. So welcome to our employee recognition folks. If you'll give me just a minute, like I said, I'm going to read just a short paragraph. First and foremost, Principal Bob Winterberger shared that Kendra Alexander is a high-impact employee who he refers to as a, quote, game changer. The leadership, achievement, performance measures, customer service, and creativity which she brings to the business on a daily basis point in one direction, and that is towards excellence. Kendra has been nominated for her tireless service to making West Claremont a best-of-class school district. Thank you, Kendra, for your hard work. Lisa Cantor is a third-grade teacher at Clough Elementary and was nominated by Jean Sloan and Leslie Oslansky. Lisa is a 31-year third-grade teacher. Third graders for 31, God bless you. She loves what she does. That's readily seen through the love of her students and the fun her students have learning in her classroom. She finds time to attend her students' outside sporting events, attending many of their games outside of school hours. To quote her nominators, no matter what the funding cuts, time shortages, Lisa just keeps going, loving her students and making differences in their lives. Congratulations and thank you, Lisa. Our next person is Erin Cupido. According to her two nominators, one was anonymous and the other was Robin Hornberger. Erin is one of the most thoughtful and caring people in our district. Erin started in West Claremont as a student teacher and now teaches 8th grade social studies at Amelia Middle, where she serves as a team leader. Erin does a multitude of extra activities for our students, running both student council and yearbook, and she is planning the Amelia Middle School trip to Washington, D.C., which happens later this month. She's also a real morale booster in the building. Erin gives her all to both her students and colleagues. Heather Copley is a third grade teacher at Holly Hill. Katie No, her nominator, shared that Heather is very committed to meeting the needs of each individual in her class, including those who are English language learners. She collaborates with other staff to get past reading challenges. She has pushed her colleagues for more support for her students, and her persistence shows just how much of a true advocate she is for her kids. According to Katie, and I quote, "Teachers like Heather make West Claremont a district where English language learners can succeed." Thank you, Heather, for your hard work. Todd DePoy is new to West Claremont and an exceptional custodian at Brantner Elementary, according to one anonymous nominator, Ann Jean Hornberger, a kindergarten teacher. He goes out of his way on a daily basis to make sure Brantner is a better place. Every job he does is completed in a polite and professional manner. Jean shared that the students love him and are always happy to see him. I know firsthand that the staff at Brantner think Todd was a great hire and are thrilled that he's on the building's team. Thanks, Todd, for all your hard work. Gay Snyder serves as secretary in the food service department here at the district office. She spent hours working through her holiday break to make sure the new Meals Plus lunch point of sale program was ready for use in our cafeterias when school resumed after the holidays. Pam Sargent, our food service supervisor, shared that Gay is always professional in her performance, handling concerns with great confidence and excellent customer service. She does a great job in keeping our kids fed on a daily basis. Thank you, Gay, for all your hard work. Susan Vader was nominated by Jim Bichalski for this recognition. Jim shared that Susan, over the course of the last few years, has not only managed the Glen Estee High School Library, but now also the Glen Estee Middle School Library, as well as overseeing the restart of services at several of our elementary schools. Susan has not only increased materials for student use, but has also increased the library's ability to utilize the internet for research purposes. In addition, Susan has used her grant writing capabilities to obtain over 25 iPads for use by students in the library. Thank you, Susan, for all you do for West Claremont. Ryan Wallace serves as the supervisor for West Claremont's Virtual Academy. Leslie Spangler, his nominator and one of our Virtual Academy teachers, shared that Brian has done a remarkable job of organizing and making the Virtual Academy a success this year. He takes a personal interest in each of his students and is always willing to give praise when deserved and support when needed. Brian is an extremely hard worker and is devoted to West Claremont and the success of all students. And Brian, the last count we had on kids who graduated this year that wouldn't have if not for Virtual Academy is 39. Congratulations. Our last recognition for this evening is Mona Wells. Mona has been a kindergarten teacher at Amelia Elementary for the past 30 years. Julia Ann Smith, her nominator, shared that Mona is so very dedicated to her teaching, so much so that many days she has to be told to go home in the evenings. Mona has served as a go-to person for new kindergarten teachers throughout West Claremont and is always willing to share what she knows with her colleagues in order to help them out. Even though this is Mona's last year before retirement, she has been heard to say, and I quote, "I want this to be my best year yet." Congratulations, Mona, on a great career and a wonderful... We're lucky in West Claremont to have tons of tremendous employees in it, and there are always more nominations than we can handle on any one evening. But I'm so very proud of the professionals that work here with our kids on a daily basis. You know, folks don't go into education necessarily for the money. They go into it, I hear chuckles. Must have been somebody in a green shirt. They don't go into it for the money, they go into it for the love of kids and helping them prepare and be as well prepared as they can for life after school. And so we congratulate these folks and congratulate all of our staff who do just tremendous work with our kids on a daily basis. We couldn't do it without these folks. So thank you all very much. Congratulations again. Susan, congratulations on your hard work. Great job. Thank you. Congratulations. And we are going to have those folks go outside to have a picture taken. And if those of you are with them and your plans were to leave at this point in the meeting, now's the good time to do that, okay? Thank you all for coming. And Ms. Sanborn, that concludes employee recognition for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Klein.
We'll transition. We need music for this.
Yeah, we do.
Follow up. Tina, do you want to just have him at the end? Have him talk in the second recognition? Or,
Go back to that, okay.
we'll just do that at the end.
Oh, we're going to do it at the end? Okay.
Mrs. Cropper, approval of the minutes.
First item on the treasurer's agenda are the minutes from our last regular meeting held April 29th. I respectfully request you approve those as presented in your packet.
You've heard the recommendation from Mrs. Cropper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Steve Waldman, Mark Merchant. Get that. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Merchant?
Yes.
Mrs. Brinkman?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes. Motion carried. Treasurer's business. Donations.
Next item on the treasurer's agenda are donations. We have quite a list of donations received by Glen Estee Middle School.
Mrs. Cropper, is your microphone on? Because I can hardly hear
Oh,
you.
it is, sorry. Maybe I was kind of speaking away, so maybe that was the problem. Oh, maybe the,
I
uh-oh.
don't think the mic.
So mics, I don't think the mics are, I think they need to be turned. Here's tapping, okay. I can talk louder.
I put my high school teacher voice on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Project.
Can do.
All right. Is it any louder now? Is that good? Okay. You're welcome. The following donations were received by Glen Estee Middle School for their OAA incentive program. Scallywag Tag donated 5 free game coupons. Highway 55 donated 5 free hamburger coupons. Laser Craze donated 2 single mission passes and 2 one-hour jump passes. Kings Island donated 2 one-day passes. Sweet Frog donated 465 10% off coupons. Butterbees donated 500 $5 off coupons. The Cincinnati Reds donated 4 view level or 2 terrace line tickets. Marco's Pizza donated 4 free cheesy bread orders. Cherry Grove Lanes donated 50 free game coupons. And Coney Island donated 4 pool and ride combo one-day passes. So we're sure the kids appreciated those donations as an incentive program. That said, Ohio law requires that you approve the donations received by the school district, so I respectfully request that you approve these donations as listed.
You've heard the recommendation from Mrs. Cropper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? I'll second. Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
Mrs. Brinkman,
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn,
Yes.
Mr. Waldman,
Yes.
Mr. Merchant,
Yes.
Motion carried. Financial statement, bills, paid list, and investment.
Next item on the treasurer's list are the financial statements for the month and the fiscal year to date ended April 30th, 2014. If I could direct your attention to the first page of your financial statements, you see that the district ended the month with just under $22 million unencumbered fund balance. Pages 2 and 3 present the detail of the general fund. And as you can see, we continue to trend fairly well. Revenues are up and expenditures are down. So that always makes for a good forecast and staying within projections. If you look for the month of April, though, is actually a fairly low cash flow month as expected. Outside our normal monthly stipend from the state of Ohio of just under $2 million, we did receive our spring settlement on the manufactured homes. So the $26,000 that came in from real estate, that was for our spring settlement on manufactured homes. If you look at other there, you'll see that it was pretty material this month for that line item. And that the majority of that came from Union Township and Pierce Township as a TIF payment. $326,000 from Union Township and $79,000 from Pierce Township for TIFs. Expenditures during the month were just under our normal $5 million. And if you look at the following page, you'll see those expenditures out by function instead of by expense as on the previous page. That said, are there any questions concerning the financial statements?
Does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
If not, I respectfully request that you acknowledge and accept the financial statements as presented.
You've heard the recommendation from Mrs. Cropper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
Mr. Merchant,
Here. Yes.
Mrs. Brinkman,
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn,
Yes.
Mr. Waldman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Treasurer's comments?
As you can see from our financial statements, we continue to live within the projections, and our revenue continues to come in just slightly above projections. So far, this has been a good financial year for us. And that concludes my section of the agenda this evening.
Great, thank you so much. Superintendent's business. Dr. Klein, overnight field trip?
Yes, we do have a request for your approval for an overnight field trip. This field trip is out of Glen Estee High School. They're requesting that students involved in the Turtles and Telemetry Research Program be permitted to spend the night at the Cincinnati Nature Center. This is an annual event that our students participate in. The cost for that participation is $7, and students are responsible for their own transportation. There are staff and students that will be participating. That begins Friday, May 23rd, and completes on Saturday, May 24th. That being said, I'd like to respectfully request the board's approval of the overnight field trip for the science students at Glen Estee High School.
You've heard the recommendation from Dr. Klein. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? I'll second. Discussion?
This is presented in a different format that we're used to. Do we have chaperones and everything like that is in order?
We do. The application was relatively lengthy, and we're in the process of revising that form. And so we gave you the
Shortened version?
shortened version, yes. That's one of the forms that we'll be revising so that it's a little more clear.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
Mr. Waldman,
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Brinkman?
Yes,
Mr. Merchant?
Yes.
Motion carried. Dr. Klein?
Our next order of business is approving membership for the Ohio High School Athletic Association. This is an annual task that the board does, passing a resolution for us to be engaged with the Ohio High School Athletic Association so that our students can participate in their tournaments, et cetera. This is a standard approval for that membership that we see on an annual basis. Without this, our athletes would not be able to compete in district tournaments, those types of things. It does cause us to be subject to all of the OHSAA rules and guidelines, bylaws, et cetera. So without, would like to ask the board's positive reconsideration of the resolution to join the Ohio High School Athletic Association as presented.
You've heard the recommendation from Dr. Klein. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
And a second? I'll second. Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
Mrs. Brinkman?
Yes,
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mr. Merchant?
Yes.
Mr. Waldman?
Yes.
Motion carried. Dr. Klein, personnel?
We have quite a personnel agenda this evening. That's that time of year when we're approving contracts for the 14-15 school year. And we do have some additional administrative recommendations that I'll present this evening as well. We have presented to the board resignations that we've accepted on your behalf. One of note, Darla Snyder, cafeteria worker at Amelia High School after 25 years of service to West Claremont. So we want to congratulate her as well as the other individuals who are resigning for retirement and other purposes. Under personnel recommendations, I do have 4 administrative contracts for your approval this evening. The first is Chris Davis, a new Director of Human Resources. He'll be replacing Dr. Moffitt, who is retiring this summer. Chris has 18 years of building level administrative experience, most recently at Sycamore High School. He comes highly recommended by the district office staff at Sycamore and has the skill set, I believe, to continue to move our human resource department forward. Mrs. Stephanie Walker is a familiar face to us in West Claremont. Stephanie served as a teacher and as a special ed supervisor, principal at Amelia Elementary, and most recently principal at Amelia Middle School. The work that Stephanie's done this past year at Amelia Middle School has been really quite nothing short of impressive, remarkable. She's implemented several significant changes, and we've gotten the building back on track. I'm looking forward to seeing Stephanie work at the high school to get things moving forward in that building as well. So that would be the second recommendation. I'm also recommending Mr. Bert Martini to replace Mrs. Walker at the Amelia Middle School. Bert was our second place candidate for the high school job and brings 2 years of experience as principal at Jack Sendell Middle High School in Indiana. He's highly recommended by his current superintendent and has made significant strides on restructuring their curricular offerings at his current location. Much of the work that he's done in Indiana is exactly the same work we've been doing here in West Claremont, particularly at Amelia Middle School. And I really do believe that Mr. Martini and Mrs. Walker will make a dynamic team on that Amelia campus as we move forward. The final administrative position that I'm recommending is the candidate for principal position at Merwin Elementary. As you know, Jackie Hospelhorn, after many years of dedicated and wonderful service, has decided to retire. And I talked to Jackie. I don't know if it's going to be a smile or tears at this point. I know she's, or both. That's right. It is May, right? It is May. We have done interviews this past week with teachers and administrators and selected Mrs. Cheryl Turner to replace Jackie as principal next fall. Cheryl is not new to West Claremont. She's been a classroom teacher, a Title I teacher and coordinator, a special education supervisor, and currently serves as a curriculum specialist. Her knowledge of curriculum and instructional strategies is top-notch, and I believe she has the leadership skills to continue to move Merwin forward as time progresses. So those are the 4 administrative assignments or recommendations I'd like to make. I'd like to walk through the rest of the agenda if we could, and then we can take a vote. Under certified personnel, we do have 1 teacher replacing an art teacher at our middle school level. Cafeteria manager contract, classified personnel, a 1-year probationary contract there. We do have some student workers. We talked about that at our last meeting. Those are student workers that we use at the Performing Arts Center as needed. Good group of school volunteers again. Under letter H, substitute personnel for the 13-14 contract year. Those are classified substitutes. We also have some substitute personnel there for the 14-15 year, and stipend approvals, which I've presented in the personnel packet. Under item 2, we have continuing contracts. Each of those teachers have met the requirements for earning a continuing contract, including the length of time of service, as well as degrees and recommendations from their administrators. Under number 3, we have certified personnel limited contracts. Those individuals are on 2-year contracts as we move forward, and you'll see them broken down by buildings. We also, under 4, have supplemental contracts for the 14-15 school year, and there are quite a few pages of those. You'll note that many of those are on-call basis. So if you see home tutor, in case we have a student who needs homeschooling or home instruction for a period of time, those folks could be called up to do that work. That goes on for quite a few pages. Number 5 are supplemental contracts for next year for non-certified employees. And last but not least, we have a classified personnel contract for auxiliary services at St. Thomas More. With that being presented, I'd respectfully request that the board approve the personnel agenda as presented this evening.
You've heard the recommendation from Dr. Klein. Do I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Dr. Klein, did you get an answer on item I, how the 2 full-time employees could be listed as substitute personnel?
That is summer substitute work for some of our secretarial support or employees that work through the summer.
Gotcha.
A lot of folks' contracts are 9-month or maybe 10-month. We have employees that are on 12 months. So they're on the list so they could sub in for individuals that may be out during the summertime.
Perfect. Thank
Yep.
you. Yep.
Dr. Klein, the
Yes.
Amelia Middle School principal position, do we
Yes.
have any inside candidates that applied for this position? Or was it just external candidates because we couldn't find anybody inside?
No, we had we narrowed the field to 6 individuals. 3 were inside and 3 were outside.
Okay.
That group of 6 participated in a first-round interview with 16 people on the panel. I was one of the larger interview committees. I was intimidated walking into the room, and I knew everybody. They were interviewed by that first-round committee, involved administrators, teachers, parents, and because it was high school, middle school, some students. They selected 3 out of those 6 that they sent on to me. Out of that 3, 1 was internal and 2 were external.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
Mrs. Brinkman,
Yes.
Mr. Waldman,
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn,
Yes.
Mr. Merchant.
Yes.
Motion carried. Dr. Klein, superintendent's comments.
I just have a few reminders for folks as we enter into the latter part of the year. I did want to share with the board that last meeting we discussed the request for proposals for legal services. That request for proposal has been made, contact information to receive one has been put on our website, and we're announcing tonight if anybody would be interested in having a copy of that so that they can submit a request for proposal, they can call the central office here, and we'll be glad to send one out to them electronically. It's hard for us to cover everybody, so if they give us a call, we will more than gladly send that out. The deadline for submitting those requests for proposals is June 9th, and then the committee will get together later in June so that we have recommendations ready for our final meeting in June. I do want to remind folks that our next meeting with the board is a business meeting. That'll be Tuesday, May 27th. That's the day after Memorial Day. And we got a couple other big events that week. We got 2 graduations. We're expecting over 600 students to receive their high school diplomas. Amelia High School's graduation will be Wednesday, May 28th at 7 o'clock at the Cintas Center. And Glen Esty's graduation will be Saturday, May 31st, 7 o'clock at the Cintas Center as well. This is an exciting time of year. Energy levels are high. We are finishing up testing, which everybody's kind of taking a deep breath after. The next couple weeks will fly by. They always do in the month of May. So we're looking forward to wrapping the year up and all the awards programs and graduations and everything that come with that. And certainly I would want to make sure that the board is invited to all of those, and I continue to put those dates in your weekly update. I want to welcome you to attend any of those events. I know folks would love to see you. So that concludes at this point the superintendent's report for this evening.
Okay. Public comment. We have one. David Shea, public records request. Mr. Shea, please state your name and address.
Thank you. My name is David Schaff. I live at 945 Shireton Court. I had 2 things to discuss real quick. First of all, last year at the State of the State, or the State of the District, Dr. Klein discussed what the cost, what the cuts to the district has cost our students: loss of music, art, PE, transportation, reduction of electives at the secondary level, increased student-teacher ratios. What I'm here today to ask for, one of the things is that you consider a levy. I'm not saying that you vote for a levy or vote to put a levy on the ballot, but I do think that as a responsible board, you should at least consider what a levy would do. That with our increased funding, we have been able to bring back certain things, but busing is still a hot topic. Teacher ratios, gifted programs, secondary electives, those could all be addressed with a small levy. And I know Mr. Merchant mentioned during the election that he couldn't support a large levy, but I think this year, if we were to do a levy, that a small levy in the 3 mil range would be able to address a lot of the issues that we still have outstanding. And the 5-year forecast showed that we will start going that downward trend again come 2017 and 18. And I think riding the wave of positive that we've had would be good for the district, obviously. So I just think that you should at least consider investigating what a levy would do, what would, how much it would cost, what services can be brought back. So because a levy needs to be on the November ballot, obviously it has to be in by August, and that's only a couple of months away. So I would task you to look into that. My second issue is I did put in a public records request for Mrs. Sanborn, and I was told that there was no such record for the request that I made. Do you recall that request, Ms. Sanborn?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do have a copy of what I was looking for. In last meeting, it was brought up that there is an agenda by certain board members, and I found what I believe to be this agenda. And I'm just going to highlight a few of the things on this agenda. First, no more money to the Ohio School Board Association, which we've addressed the first meeting. Also, get 2 athletic directors out, that we don't need to pay the extra money for them. Rewrite the school board bylaws. Allow people to speak at meetings at any time as long as decorum is maintained. No more pickups and contracts. They have to pay their own way. No more freebies, annuities, Medicare pickups. Cancel health insurance plans, dump them on Obamacare exchanges. Implement dual roles, one principal that covers 2 schools. Get out of the Civic Center. Brooks moved the board here so that they would not see the schools and talk to the teachers, get back to the school building. Get an accurate account of students and finances and right-size the district. Eliminate directors, secretaries, et cetera. We have too many chiefs and not enough for the amount of students, and believe that 3 full-time secretaries per building is just too much. Let me go over here. After winning the election, a lot of staff will self-deport. You can replace them a lot cheaper. Bring substitutes back in-house, outsource payroll, have open meetings with teachers, more support for teachers, but then there's other things where reduce the high-end pay scale and lower that, and raise the lower end, encourage the higher paid to leave the district or retire, and entice the most recent grads. There's obviously an agenda, and I really think that it needs to be squashed, and we need to focus on education and what we need to do for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Board business, board comments.
In the last meeting, we, as a board, approved membership in the OSBLC. And on their website, there's an area where you can go and join yourself if you wanted to. And the community membership was $40. And the board membership was $500. Do you know the difference you get for the different levels of membership?
No.
Okay.
I do not have that information.
Could you research that and bring that back to the next meeting? Because it seems it would be more cost effective if they're the same members. If it would be more cost effective for us to be community members versus board members. I mean, it saves money, and if you're not going to get anything different for the membership, it seems that might be the best way to go. Just my 2 cents. The other thing I wanted to make comment of is I wanted to thank one of our Glen Estee High School teachers for doing an outstanding job writing some grants recently. I understand that Mr. Bashowski has done an outstanding job and has been successful in getting Glen Estee almost $10,000 in grant money. So thank you for your efforts. That's all I have.
I have one small item, and I'll pass these down. In some of the information that I receive via multiple resources, I ran across a recent article that talked about tools to encourage parent involvement. And I just wanted to pass this out as an informational item. There were some really constructive things that were spoken of in this. And there's actually a parent website that will link into our website if that's something we choose to do. Dr. Klein, I thought that might be something if you want to follow up on, you can, but it's more information than anything.
I was looking at this afternoon and certainly want to check it out. If there's a way we can provide help to folks, I'm all for it.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mrs. Hospelhorn, I wanted to say as board member, I appreciate all that you've done for the 30-plus years of service, and I thank you for all that you have done for our students and our community and the West Claremont School District. Thank you. Cheryl Turner, I am elated that you're accepting that position on behalf of Jackie. I think you are going to be an excellent fit. I think that the students will love you as much as we in the district love you, and I wish you much success, and may you have a great new year. Mrs. Walker, you are the most awesome lady that I have ever met. And I wish you much success at the Amelia High School. Now, there's one thing that I notice is going to happen. Since your husband is at the high school, here comes a rival. So do you have any purple? Because he has to get his blue. That's what I heard. So thank you.
I'm a slightly competitive woman. The old boy doesn't
But I just wanted to say, I appreciate all you've done at the Amelia Middle School, and I thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and your awesome work that you have done. And I hope to continue this work, and I hope that by hiring Mr. Martini, that he continues the work that you've already started and moves it forward in a positive direction. Thank you so much.
Klein, do we have either of our new hires with us tonight?
They are not with us tonight. They had other commitments at their current district, but I have cleared the date, so they'll be with us on the 27th, and I'll be sure to introduce them at that time.
Great.
I'm looking forward to them getting on board with us as well.
I am as well. There's a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
A lot of change too, and that's not always easy, and I appreciate the work that you have done in pulling those committees together and doing the due diligence. I mean, that's a benefit to the district for sure.
Absolutely. We try to be as thorough and find the best possible candidates we can, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Dr. Moffitt. He has been interviewing like there's no tomorrow and pulling committees together. And a lot of folks, I look in the crowd, I see a lot of folks that have sat in as part of those committees over time. So HR is doing a great job, big shoes to fill, but I think we've made a good choice, and we'll be able to continue to move things forward.
Okay.
Anyone else? Gonna do that. I move we go into executive session for the purpose of renewing recognitions. Is this right?
Oops, do you have the wrong one?
Yeah. I thought it was about the transportation.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
That's right.
Transportation?
No, that's right. What's on the list? That's right.
Negotiations concerning the terms and agreements of the contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second?
Who made
I made the motion.
Okay,
And Mark seconded.
okay.
Roll call, Mrs. Cropper?
I had a
Ms.
question.
Sanborn?
Oh,
What are we going into executive session for?
negotiations concerning.
Contract negotiations.
Okay.
Negotiations of the contract.
Okay.
Go ahead. Roll call,
Ms.
Mrs. Cropper?
Sanborn?
Yes.
Mr. Merchant?
Yes.
Mrs. Brinkman?
Yes.
Mr. Waldman?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you for coming this evening. Good night.